What if I told you there's a story so bizarre, so twisted, that it blurs the lines between life and death? Imagine surviving not just one, but multiple murder attempts, each more sinister than the last. And now, let's dive into the almost unbelievable, yet true tale of Michael Malloy, the man who simply refused to die. In the 1930s, during the dark days of the Great Depression, New York City was a place where desperation often drove people to the edge. And it was here, in the shadowy underbelly of the city, that Michael Malloy, a homeless, jobless alcoholic, became the unwitting star of a macabre plot. Malloy was a familiar face at a speakeasy owned by Tony Marino, a man with a penchant for quick money and an even quicker moral downfall. One day, Marino and a group of equally desperate acquaintances, Francis Pasqua, Daniel Kreisberg, and Joseph Murphy, hatched a plan that would shock the city and etch their names into the annals of crime history. The idea was simple: take out a life insurance policy on Malloy and then eliminate him. But as you're about to find out, things didn't go exactly as planned. At first, the plan seemed foolproof. The men, known as the Murder Trust, took out several life insurance policies on Malloy, using fake identities and spreading the policies across different companies to avoid suspicion. All that was left was to get Malloy to drink himself to death, a task they thought would be easy, given his well-known love for alcohol. They offered him an open tab, letting him drink as much as he wanted, night after night. Whiskey, gin, brandy, you name it, they poured it. But to their astonishment, Malloy just kept coming back, night after night, seemingly immune to the lethal quantities of alcohol that would have knocked out any ordinary man. Frustrated, they decided to up the ante. They swapped out his drinks for antifreeze, thinking it would certainly do the trick. But once again, Malloy proved to be indestructible. He drank it down like it was water, and still, he lived. They tried turpentine, horse liniment, even rat poison mixed into his drinks, but Malloy continued to walk in each night, asking for more. The Murder Trust couldn't believe it. By now, they were growing desperate. They served him raw oysters soaked in wood alcohol, thinking that the combination of toxins would surely finish him off. But Malloy, incredibly, downed them without hesitation and asked for seconds. At this point, you might be thinking, this has to be a joke, right? But no, this is a true story, and it only gets stranger. Winter was setting in, and with it, a new idea. One freezing night, after Malloy had passed out from his usual drinking binge, they dragged his unconscious body out into the snow. They stripped him of his shirt, doused him with cold water, and left him on a park bench, expecting that hypothermia would do what poison and alcohol could not. But once again, Michael Malloy defied the odds. The very next day, he walked into the speakeasy, shivering but alive, asking for a drink to warm him up. By now, the Murder Trust was in disbelief. How could this man still be alive? They had to resort to something more direct. They ran him over with a taxi, twice, thinking that the sheer trauma would surely end him. But Malloy, with the resilience of a man who seemed to have 9 lives, showed up a few weeks later, covered in bruises and bandages, but still very much alive. You might be wondering, how much more could this man take? And why didn't he realize something was wrong? The truth is, Malloy, whether from ignorance or some twisted sense of humor, seemed completely unaware of the sinister plot against him. He just kept drinking, oblivious to the danger surrounding him. Finally, in February 1933, the Murder Trust decided on a last, desperate act. They took Malloy to a rented room, put a hose in his mouth, and connected it to a gas jet. This time, tragically, their plan succeeded. and Michael Malloy was finally dead. But even in death, Malloy's story wasn't over. His incredible ability to survive so many murder attempts had drawn attention, and the police quickly grew suspicious. An investigation led to the arrest of the murder trust, and eventually, they were all convicted and executed for their crime. Michael Malloy's story is a grim reminder of the extremes to which human greed can push people, but it's also a bizarre testament to the endurance of the human body. How did Malloy survive so long under such dire conditions? Was it luck, sheer willpower, or something else entirely? We may never know for sure, but one thing is certain: Michael Malloy's tale is one that continues to haunt and intrigue us to this day. If you found this story as jaw-dropping as I did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more incredible true crime stories. And don't forget to check out our other videos. There's a whole world of mysteries out there just waiting to be explored.